what's your favorite thing you've done this offseason?
Favorite thing I've done this offseason? Man, just get back to playing basketball. Like, honestly, like, I didn't get to play last year, so played a few games, but just being on the court and having fun and smiling, like, that brings me a lot of joy.
After months of silence and a season marred by injuries that disabled one of basketball's most prominent players, Caitlin Clark returned to the field. However, this was not just any return. This was her first senior-level USA basketball camp representing her country, as well as her first serious basketball interview in months. What she stated about her injury-filled sophomore season, the things she learned, and her big statement about herself and the fever will dramatically transform your perspective on her journey. Let us know in the comments section below how eager you are to see Caitlin back on the court.
I know you told us today that after practice you were a little bit nervous going in just because you hadn't played in a while. Was there a moment you tried to get over that, said, all right, I'm good, I'm back to where I was before I got hurt? And I think you hit that one step back three that sort of bring sort of some comfort in some ways in the sort of part we saw.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I feel like when I touched the basketball to start warming up before the practice even started, that's probably when I felt pretty comfortable. But, I mean, I've worked so hard. Like, I haven't taken a break since, you know, honestly, since the beginning of the WNBA season, with just all my rehab and getting back to where I wanted to be and then getting even better. So that's been kind of my focus. And, you know, this has kind of been my next thing that I've been working for since our season ended.
The data tell a single story. 62 records were broken in a single rookie season. Historic performances night after night. Caitlin Clark had quickly become basketball's brightest star, but her sophomore year was a completely different tale. The right groin strain came first, followed by a left quadriceps issue. Both teams experienced groin injuries. A bone bruise in her left ankle exacerbated her pre-existing physical difficulties. Her season came to an untimely end after only 13 games. The switch from record-breaking to spectator stung worse than any physical discomfort. Clark went from dominating every court she stepped onto to watching games from the sidelines. Quiet gym workouts replaced the roar of packed venues. Physical therapy appointments took over the calendar space formerly occupied by gaming. Every day, she was unsure when she would be able to recover fully.
Thankful for, you know, the training staff and player development and everybody that has kind of been there with me. They haven't taken a break either because they, you know, they invest a lot of time and they want me to be successful. So I think for myself, like it's not proving it to yourself again, but it's just that feeling. And I think it just made me smile quite a bit. Like I really did kind of feel like myself out there and just continuing to get my lungs back. But I felt like I was moving really well. So it was pretty satisfying.
Clark gained something she had never had before throughout her spectacular rise: free time. Time to reflect, watch, and truly understand what her teammates went through when they were injured. She noticed their dissatisfaction during recovery sessions. She watched their determination despite difficulties. She observed as they fought through discomfort simply to practice with the team.
I wanted to ask you about, the last 6 months. I mean, you basically, I think you had a stretch of like 7 years, whether it's Iowa or Dowling, where you just didn't miss a game. You never were out for one game with an ankle tweak or anything. Just having that stretch of being off the court and not playing games, did you learn anything about yourself? And did you learn anything about the game just being on the sideline rather than playing?
The isolation of injury recuperation provided Clark with an unexpected classroom experience. Every day spent away from competition taught her skills and resilience that she had never learnt while smashing records. She found that leadership entails far more than just making amazing plays or hitting game-winning baskets. Real leadership emerged in little situations when colleagues needed it the most.
Put together a pretty incredible stretch of never missing a game. And, the fact is, when you're a professional athlete, it's going to come at some point. That's just how it goes. I think it's honestly taught me more than I've probably ever learned through the course of my career of, how to take care of your body, how to get right, how to stay healthy, and then just taking time for yourself.
Clark started reaching out to injured teammates in ways she'd never done before. She began to check in with them via text messages on a frequent basis. She encouraged them at their lowest points. She realized for the first time what it meant to feel separated from what she loved the most. The event made her more aware of the mental fights that accompany physical losses.
At the end of the WNBA season, obviously I did everything I could to try to be able to come back and, be able to play for my team. But, it just didn't really work. I think that was almost a way of relief for myself, just knowing that, I gave everything I could to possibly try to play, but my body just wasn't really letting.
Her perspective on what makes a great teammate shifted dramatically during those months away from basketball. Clark recognized that being there for others was just as important as playing well during sports. She discovered that leadership cares whether you are on the court or not. The forced hiatus taught her that helping teammates through their difficulties builds greater friendships than any on-court chemistry. The mental side of recuperation was equally as difficult as the physical side. Clark had to face the possibility that her body would not always comply with her objectives. She questioned whether she could return to her prior level of performance. The uncertainty about the timetable and full recovery challenged her patience on a daily basis.
To rehab, and now feeling back at 100%, it honestly took probably longer than I expected, but knowing my body's in a really good spot. And, I think more than anything, it just teaches you how to be a really great teammate and a really good leader, and understanding what your teammates go through. Like, obviously, I'm going to have teammates that have been through injuries and are going to continue to go through injuries, and always leaning on them and being there for them. And, if I have a teammate hurt going forward, like, I'm always going to be the one that texts them and checks on them. And then, just pouring into your teammates. You can do that whether you play or you don't play. And that was kind of my main focus.
But those rough months revealed something profound about Clark's character. She refused to let disappointments define her experience. Instead, she used the time to become more aware of team dynamics. She researched how senior athletes helped younger teammates overcome difficulties. She came to value the mere act of being able to compete. Clark remarked on how the experience had affected her attitude to team interactions. I believe more than anything, it teaches you how to be a really wonderful teammate, a really good leader, and to understand what your teammates are going through, she said. I'll always be there for my teammates who have been injured or are currently injured.
The biggest honor you can possibly have in playing basketball in our country is wearing USA across your chest. So, I'm just excited to be here and honored. Obviously, it's kind of like the start to the new Olympic cycle, and quite a few different things before we get to that point, but just excited to be here and be surrounded by a lot of really great players, some that, haven't played in Olympics before, and then others that have a medal or multiple medals. So I think it's been a fun.
Her dedication to helping others became very obvious during her recuperation. If a teammate is hurt in the future, I will always be the one to text them and check on them. Simply pouring into your teammates. You can do this whether you play or not. The injury period altered a perception of what leadership truly entails. Every day, I felt a deeper desire to compete again. I miss being on the court and playing. I would have taken 10 poor games in a row just to go out there. That is how much I love it, Clark admitted. The forced absence helped her appreciate basketball in ways she hadn't previously. Now, that admiration would be put to the test on the grandest platform possible.
This camp has a lot of younger players. What can you say just about all of you being able to come together and kind of signify this start of this new Olympic cycle, with all of you being together and being so familiar with each other?
Yeah, and I think a lot of us have familiarity, whether we were playing on junior national teams together or whether we played versus each other in college, or, obviously playing now versus each other in WNBA, or some of us obviously are teammates as well. So, we know each other pretty well. I think it obviously speaks to the way USA basketball does such a great job at the junior national team levels of really getting you kind of involved in the program and understanding what USA basketball.
The Duke University training facility was buzzing with excitement as 26 athletes came for the most critical camp in years. This December session marked the official start of roster preparation for both the 2026 World Cup in Berlin and the 2028 Summer Olympics in Los Angeles. Sue Bode, the newly hired managing director, closely monitored each drill. Her duty was to figure out which players will lead American basketball into the following Olympic cycle. Clark entered a place unlike any she had ever encountered before. Olympic veterans Kaya Copper, Chelsea Gray, Brittany Gray, Kelsey Plum, and Jackie Young contributed championship expertise to each practice. 10 first-time senior camp guests, including Cameron Brink, Paige Beckers, Angel Reese, Aaliyah Boston, and Guju Watkins, brought new vitality to the facilities.
Honor it is to be able to do this, and if you're lucky enough to do it, just once, that's incredibly cool to represent your country. So I think for us, like, being able to have that and then come into this national team camp together, it just is a thing of comfort, but also, like, we're all very competitive and you want to be surrounded by the best at the same time. And I think that's kind of the feeling all around for all of us.
The pressure was real. Clark hadn't played competitive basketball for months. During warm-ups, every coach on the crew observed her moves. Every drill becomes an evaluation. The national team coaching staff, directed by Kara Lawson, includes WNBA coaches Natalie Nassi, Nate Tibbetts, and Stephanie White of the Fever. These were not casual observers. They were decision makers who would shape America's basketball future. Lawson's tutoring technique stressed just what Clark required to demonstrate her abilities. The pace and space offense provided opportunity for rapid judgments and precise passes. The tempo rewarded players who could read defenses quickly and execute plays at full speed. The spacing created driving lanes of penetration. The approach seems to be designed to highlight Clark's unique qualities prior to her physical problems.
Being hurt is an incredibly isolating thing, and you don't really understand it until you go through it. And then I think the challenge for myself was just, it was one injury, and then it was like a little better, and then it kind of continued to compound and get worse, and, other things pop up, and then I had the ankle injury. So it feels nice to finally be back to 100%.
Throughout the first day, questions arose about Clark's physical state. How will she appear after several months of rehabilitation? Can she still make shots off the dribble? Will her court vision be keen after such a long layoff? The basketball world awaited answers on whether the player who set 62 records could return to that level.
I think Coach Kara's, obviously she knows just as good as anybody else what USA basketball is all about, winning a gold medal. And then additionally, she's been a part of a lot of different Olympic teams, whether it's 3-on-3 stuff, whether it's obviously an assistant coach at the last gold medal. But I think it's just the energy she brings. And I think that impacts every single person in the gym. And I think that's a really powerful thing as a coach. So I think that was, this is really my first time around Coach Kara as well. I don't have a prior relationship with her. So obviously it's been good to get to know her over the course of this first few days. But I think for myself, it's just the energy and the competitive spirit that she brings as a coach. I think that really impacts players and what they want to bring on the court as well.
Clark got onto the floor for her first scrimmage practice and answered those questions instantly. "I'm 100% healthy," she stated at a media appearance. The words held significance beyond physical recuperation. They provided a total mental reset following the most difficult phase of a basketball career. Her game showed no symptoms of rust after the extended vacation. The passes were precise and perfectly timed. Her dribble penetration appeared explosive as she attacked defensive spaces. The step-back threes hit the mark with the same precision that made her renowned. Coach Lawson said that Clark looked good on both ends and had not missed a beat. Months of dedicated rehabilitation had really enhanced her general fitness.
It's great to see Cam. Last time I played USA basketball, I'm pretty sure she was on the team, or maybe that was 2 times ago, but she was actually my roommate one of the times that I played USA basketball. So I've known her for quite some time now, and then obviously throughout college continued to build our relationship, and then even now professionally. So it's always good to see people that you've known for 5+ years and even longer now. I mean, it was the U16 team was the first team I ever played on, and I think I was 15. So it's been almost 9 years now, which is pretty incredible, the course of this journey.
Clark reconnected with Cameron Brink, her flatmate from prior USA basketball adventures. Their friendships, which lasted nearly 9 years, brought comfort in competitive climate. "We've known each other for so long," Clark said, emphasizing how personal bonds aided a move back to intense competitiveness. The camp culture emphasized evaluation and chemistry above pressure. Clark reminded herself to smile and have fun while she adjusted to the team structure. Coaches were amazed with her shooting range during practice sessions. Her rapid decision-making translated perfectly into international style play. The fast-paced method allowed her innate instincts to thrive without having to overthink every step.
This is the biggest moment the WNBA has ever seen, and it's not something that can be messed up. And we're going to fight for everything that we deserve, but at the same time, we need to play basketball. That's what our fans crave, and that's what all of you crave as well. You want the product on the floor. And at the end of the day, that's how you make the money. That's how you're marketable. That's what the fans get excited about. That's what the fans want to show up for. It's important that we find a way to, play this next season. And I think our fans and even everybody that has played in this league that has come before us deserve that.
Clark's presence with rising players like his Beckers, Ree, and Watkins marked a generational shift for Team USA. The combination of youth and experience resulted in dynamic practices in which everyone pushed each other to greater heights. With so many excellent players vying for few roles, competition for roster spots heated up. Her health proclamation reverberated throughout the facility because it meant more than just physical preparedness. Clark had mentally prepared for the leadership responsibilities that come with donning the USA jersey. The injury period gave her important lessons about teamwork and overcoming adversity. These lessons would be critical as Team USA prepared for their 6th consecutive World Cup gold title. The camp signaled the start of something far greater than individual comebacks or personal achievements. Between drills and scrimmages, Clark covered topics much beyond basketball fundamentals. Her words indicated an athlete who understands the commercial realities that influence women's professional sports. When reporters inquired about the WNBA's ongoing union discussions, Clark did not skirt the topic or provide safe responses. She addressed one of the league's most challenging concerns: